So today it's about great. We have today a great webinar because we have a lot of camera around us, 3 cameras. We even have a director behind the camera that he will move all the camera around during our show, so it's really professional. And we'll speak about immersive experience, communication, collaboration, and what is this technology behind. We'll try really to give you a feeling of where we are today and who are the people behind, and what you could do, finally, how you can leverage this technology for your business. So today I'm not alone. I'm with Chris Hen, CTO of Inside Reality. Welcome, Chris. How are you?
Sam, what's up? Hi.
I'm good, thank you. So maybe you can tell us who you are and what you are doing here.
Of course, yeah. Well, first of all, welcome to Inside Reality. Literally, you're a guest today in our facilities. And well, you already said who I am, so I'm going to tell you who we are. For that, I do a quick shout out to Jürgen, my brother in arms. Jürgen is the CEO of the company and the CTO, and we are trying to convince the world that in order to use VR in business, you don't need glasses.
Okay.
And well, we're going to explain what that means a little bit later on.
You have glasses?
I have these, prescription glasses, but not the kind of goggles you typically use. But to say who we are as a company, we're a software company based in Switzerland, as you know very well. We're actually also brothers in arms, part of the same ecosystem. One Inside is the same group that we're part of. And as a group company, Inside Reality really shares the DNA of the rest of the group in 2 ways. At the human level, we share the same spirit, culture, the way we work with each other, the way we work with our customers. But we also share a technological DNA, and that is everything we do is based on the web, because we fundamentally believe that important information should never be further away than 1 click.
Yes, and I agree with you. I share the exact same DNA. So, and you mentioned VR without glasses, and yep. So maybe let's show to the people in the audience today, where are we today? Maybe you can tell us a bit about where we are.
Sure. Yeah.
What is this space? Where are we?
Yeah. So why don't we start with a tour of the house? And I'm going to ask Michael to help me do that. Give him a couple of seconds. So we literally show you where we are. Because immersive communication for us starts with a room, and when we say we don't use the VR goggles, we have also to say why. Well, our objective is really to immerse a group of individuals. Well, this is a group that is managing a common project, etc. That is what we're trying to do, and we realize that by projecting on walls in a room like you see here, I'm going to stand up and give you the little house tour. So we have 3 projectors on the ceilings. They are, typical home cinema projectors, nothing more, nothing fancy. As a compute infrastructure to power this room, we're using normal VR PCs. And because these walls are painted white, you could put fancy pictures on there, but that would defy the purpose. You can use these walls as a projection surface, and when we literally do that, from the floor to the ceiling on 270 degrees, we can literally put people inside the information, and the impression of immersion is almost as perfect as if you have these glasses on. And we're actually going to show you what that means. So we're going to go back, and I'm going to ask Michael, perhaps if we can turn down the lights a little bit. Obviously today we have the room full of equipment, cameras, etc. And this is not usually how the room looks like. The room is actually usually very empty. We have this little desk here, we have the walls, we have the people, 2 to 4 or 5 people we have the projectors, and that's it. So
yeah, you can see our producer right now, Michael.
I'm giving Michael a hard time here. We didn't actually plan this. We just came up with this idea just literally before we started the webinar. But I think it's really good to explain to people what we're doing. And this is also part of the experience that, quite honestly, it may sound like a cliche, but you have to see this.
Right.
You have to experience this. We can try to explain to you how that feels being inside, but we always ask people when they have been here, is, could you have imagined what this could do to you or your business? And the answer is as consistent as any answer could ever be, is that no, you have to experience that for yourself, and then you start having ideas. So right now, we're looking at this without the lights, and now you can appreciate what it means to be immersed in here. We are looking at 3 web browsers, one for each wall. Let me show it to you. So left, right, and the middle. I hope we can capture this a little bit. And the different machines, they are talking to each other on the internet. And as they do that, and we increase the screen size to max out on the wall, you literally have the feeling of being immersed in this world, whether you're flying over it like a drone, or whether you go inside it. I can also show you that. The model, by the way, that we're looking at here is an active project. It is a visualization we did for the Migros in the eastern part of Switzerland. This is the largest shopping mall in the canton of Schaffhausen, and we're looking here at a before and after stage. This is after, this is what they planned, at least what they originally planned, and this is the before. And as you see, I can move around here even though it's running in the browser, and then we get this immersive feeling here.
The feeling is really crazy. I mean, for sure, they don't live the same when you are watching the webinar. You have to come here in Lichtal, but we really try to give you a good feeling already today, and it's really impressive when you are in this room.
And looking at this model, it's already a very good case to talk about where is this used and why. Because we're really trying to use this in order to have individuals that are working in different disciplines, different stakeholders that have a say in what has to go on there in order to construct this building, to really facilitate this multi-stakeholder dialogue. Because we figure every single discipline all by itself, the digital transformation has already transformed our individual jobs, but there is still a lot of potential to optimize how we work with each other, and that is something that we explore. It would be sounding surprising that a project like that actually most of its time it's stuck in processes that depend on people making decisions and have a hard time making those because maybe they don't understand the 3D nature of what is planned. So having a simple discussion of the owner of this building with the neighboring
so you
people.
can really visualize how it will look like, basically.
Exactly, yeah. You can imagine how it looks like. And today in Switzerland, for example, by law, you're required to give the 2D plan. And if that's the only foundation you have for a conversation, it's no wonder that projects like this, they can linger on for up to 10 years because they're literally stuck in getting an approval for some small thing that would be easy to resolve if you could just have a session like this and work on it like this. So let me show you another aspect of this very quickly. And because this is all web content, I can quite freely choose what I am. Obviously too much choice here. Here it is. So I'm going to switch that, and I'm moving over to the technical model. So you have seen the shopping mall from a bird's eye view, so to speak. And now we look at the real thing. So this is the developed project. This is actually live now, so you can shop in there today.
Where is it?
It's in Schaffhausen, it's in Herblingen. And the interesting thing is here we are looking at a building information model that includes more than 100,000 individual parts that all have a description of what it is, how they relate to each other, etc. And this is how the more technical professions work with it. So there is a level of detail that is missing. You know, a consumer would not find himself easily within this environment, and I'm going to show you one particular area where this is very apparent. So here we are in a zone that is called the Dorfplatz, the city village, and here we have a screen that you can use for product presentations, etc. And we're now roaming around a little bit here. I'm going to take away some of the construction walls that have been in here. So you see I can fully interact with this relatively complex model. And here you see another way of how we can use immersive collaboration, communication to bring disciplines together that are only starting to work together during the planning phase. And this is new. So here we are actually bringing the layout of the shop together with the architecture, and we can do this at any stage. We can do this much earlier in the cycle, so that you actually have a chance as an architect to react of what the shop floor planners would like to do with this space, because they might get new ideas.
Yes.
And when you spend a little bit more time in planning like this, number one, the project goes much faster because you're actually building what you want and you are knowing what you get. And this is not to be underestimated. You can actually fix a lot of problems that today are fixed on the building site, are fixed in the planning stage.
Okay.
And guess what? It's much cheaper to move a wall around in the digital world, in the digital twin. Yeah, believe me.
But and also so all this 3D visualization. So it was done by your team, right? I mean, how do you? This is something maybe you can explain how you bring that live, basically the 3D model.
Yeah, so we bring that alive by bringing lots of different models from the individual disciplines. Like you're looking here at about 20 different 3D models that people can upload to the cloud, and we're bringing this to this room here. And let people immerse themselves like seconds later. You could even work on the model as you're sitting within it, and it's going to update live, and you're going to see a change that you are making to the model.
And so for this project, you had like the same room next to the construction site?
We literally,
how did it work?
Yeah, that's a good question. We did have a room like this. Yeah, we did have a room like this in the container.
In a container?
On the constructions, yes. Literally almost the same side as this room here.
Okay.
In a container, and so everybody could use this.
And so every day people were gathering, or not every people, but...
I mean, not every day and not all people, but
they were gathering in this room just to visualize the future of the project.
Exactly.
And make some change and understand impact of modification.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
For example, we had the facility managers come in relatively early, and usually they would do their control tour once the building is done, and they take up all the defects, etc. And then of course you need to correct it. Well, here they can pick up all the defects in the virtual world, and it can be fixed before it's actually.
But you always have to be all in the same room?
No, you don't. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you that in a second.
Okay.
Because that's of course an important aspect of immersive communications, as we say it. So let's assume I would like to discuss this with the actual user of this facility. Then the first thing is we need to switch to another kind of visualization. Because
it's too technical.
A business person, this is too technical. They said, yeah, but it doesn't have any lights. I mean, the lights are in here. Look at this lamp here. You don't even see that's a lamp. For an engineer, this is sufficient.
Yeah, right.
But for you and me, this will not be. And let me just switch to. Oh yeah, here it is. So now we are inside
Wow.
The same model, but we have materialized it. And now all of a sudden you see, oh wow, yeah, it is a screen. And because it's a 3D web page, you know, we can replace all the assets. We can do things like turn on and off the light, like this.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really appreciate how this thing...
The atmosphere, you can really appreciate the atmosphere of the room.
Absolutely, or you can also simulate, you know, different use of different materials. Now we're changing the floor here. And like this, you can have, again, a multi-stakeholder dialogue, but now if you talk to a user or the construction owner, it might not necessarily be on the building site.
Right.
So what do we do?
I have no idea.
maybe we do, because that's where immersion is taken beyond its original meaning to really immerse ourselves in the visualization, but to immerse ourselves with visual communication no matter where we are. And as a matter of fact, you and I, we can just quickly do that because we're already running in a browser. We're only one step away from sharing it with any device on the planet, and you don't even need to install software for that.
Okay.
We're just going to try that, and
so now people watching the webinar, they can just grab their phone.
They can join. We have a slight delay because of the streaming.
Yes,
so I'm going to let it run. You actually see a little bit in the future when you're looking at the webinar, which is fun.
So we give you a few seconds to grab your phone and scan the QR code.
Exactly, and I'm going to build it up here as well so that literally everybody can see it also through the setup that we have here in the room. I'm going to make the same thing. I'm connecting with it via my phone, and I haven't installed this software here. I'm literally going to the URL of this web page, and after a couple of seconds this thing shows up, and I hope people have joined, and now I can you can see it very well.
And so now when you're moving, it's also moving for them on their phone.
It's moving everywhere, and that is essential because we want to moderate the discussion. I mean, it's a bit silly because we're looking at multiple screens in the same room.
Right.
It looks like fun, but imagine you are working from your home office, and I would like to show you something.
Yeah,
so
right.
How would I do that without asking you every 3 seconds? Do you see this? Do you see this? You know, this is silly, and we have this capability to just change literally anything in this scene, and it will be broadcasted without streaming. That's the interesting part. So this works on very weak mobile connections even.
Okay.
And this is important because on the building site, you may not have a good network. You don't have a fixed network line. All you have is mobile communication. Yes. So you can use your phone, you can use your tablet.
You can use your desktop.
You can use your desktop.
It can be even another room.
It can be another room, yes. It could be just...
because it's just web, so basically it's anything.
Yeah, and just last week we even equipped a 360 dome with this capability, and you're just staring at the same website.
Yes.
And that's it. And the moment I move or do something, then it literally moves everywhere. For those at home, it will not move at the same time because don't forget we're doing a streaming here, so there's always some processing before the signal gets to you. But if this was in real time, then you would all see it like that. Yeah, and that's basically the second leg of immersive communications, but there's a third one.
Okay.
Yep. The question is, what happens if someone cannot participate in a meeting?
Let me ask you, what happens if somebody cannot participate?
Funny you should ask. So that's typically when you get passed on protocols and notes with a lot of text, and it's really hard to imagine. You know, when decisions have been taken, what's the impact of the decision? What is expected from me? What should I do? And I'm now closing this session down. So the session is ended. As a matter of fact, everybody who's going to the event later on will see that the session has ended. So we won't get through the sharing part. So you see, when I move this around here, it's no longer in sync. Now everybody is independent again. Right, but now this is just a normal portal that I can use, and now this scene here I'm showing it on the tablet. I can now independently.
Okay, so you can also move.
Now I can move because now we are separate again.
Okay.
Before I wanted to make sure everybody sees the same thing, and of course this control can be passed around. So
yes.
you
okay.
show me something.
Yes.
And but now we have sort of frozen that state and we made it available like a memory of the experience. And here you can literally, when you go to this, you now have this link. If you go to any one of these experiences here, then you can go and see what has been shown in this room.
Right.
Right. And you can see this is a rather complex experience, even with a running video here. And you don't have to install software.
Yeah,
it
really
comes
nice.
to you right away. And even better, you can also share this in a controlled way with someone else. So let me use my mobile phone to go to the same site, and then I'm syncing up these two together. So here we have the same thing, probably not easy to see on the video.
Yes.
But I can now send this link via SMS, via email, via anything to anyone in this world. And I'm just going to be lazy and use the QR code. Oh, where is it? Where is the camera? Here. Okay. And now see what happens. After a couple of seconds, now we are again on the same page, and now I am steering that conversation. Now I have a private session. Shall I,
I think
put it on here?
Right, maybe we can show something.
Yeah, sure. Let's just try to do that. So in real tab/share/ and share 3D 395. Is that correct? I hope so. Looks like it, yeah. Make it big. Okay, join session. And now I'm driving the big screen
from your smartphone.
I could be at home and I will be driving this here. And you know, including the video, the live impression, we have everything connected here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is in probably the best way to describe what we mean by immersive communications. You are immersed in all the information, all the relevant information all the time. If you now imagine how easy it becomes to actually communicate a decision or some insight, because you always have all contextual information ready with you. And as we said in the beginning, we share a common DNA, which is this one-click thing called the web. So that's a killer, of course, because now we're just one click away from understanding why a particular decision has been made this way and not another one. So we can cut a lot of misunderstandings out of communication. So that is why Jürgen and I, we refer to this as a communication quality device, if you like. So we can improve the quality of your conversations.
Right.
That's our mission.
Exactly.
If I would say it like that, you would say, "Are you crazy?" Therefore, I usually say, "No, we're trying to do VR without glasses." But that's what it refers to.
And so it can be, because now you show a lot about architecture and example like this. There is maybe we can also leverage that for other use cases and give ideas to the audience today that yes, this technology can be used in different cases.
Yeah, I mean, go to another industry and you we're talking about the watchmakers, for example. Here we're not talking about large buildings, but we are seeing things, small things, larger than life.
Right.
You know, it's all about the experience that you can have. And here again, we can quite easily change things.
So basically here you can create an infinite showroom.
Yes.
Exactly, and people will come and you can display all the watches and personalize them in real time.
Yeah, correct.
And they can even share that with their wife maybe. Look what I'm doing right now. I'm in the Rolex shop in Geneva and she's maybe in Singapore and I don't know,
Exactly, yeah.
And do you like this one? Yes, let's buy it.
It's a completely new buying experience.
Yes.
Right, and if we talk for a moment about digital selling or how to use this in sales, right? This is probably one of the areas where it's the lowest hanging fruit if companies think about using this technology. It's literally in marketing and sales.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if we go back 2 steps of how we use the internet to sell for e-commerce, then by doing this move from bricks and mortar and selling inside houses to selling on the internet, all the power went to the consumer because you have the ultimate choice. You can switch the shopping mall in a second, and as a seller, you have completely lost that control or that way of managing your relation, and we're trying to reinvent ways of making it easy to trace what people are doing. But by bringing back the best of both worlds, so a way of communicating the full experience over the internet, not just a link to a little post-stamp size picture of a thing that you want to buy, but the whole interactive experience, we can maintain the quality of that communication, and someone who sells something can literally guide the buyer. This is an element we lost on the internet and in commerce. The commerce is without guidance. And imagine you are buying a kitchen. Let me give you this as an example.
But also one thing about this example I like a lot is also that this is all web. It's an asset in your content management system.
It is, yes,
and
absolutely.
you can then reuse that also on different channels. Like now we are in store, let's say. It can be used also online on your website, and you can really have the complete journey.
Yeah, absolutely correct. I mean, you mentioned our common DNA before and the web, and One Insight is working with Adobe as a partner on the content management side. Well, because this is content, you can literally manage this in a classic content management system. It is nothing else but your good old trusted enterprise level IT, and you just happen to have a little bit more fancy content.
This is my favorite one. I like this kitchen, really. I like this kitchen.
Yeah. I'd like it at home, actually, not just on the screen.
No, right, but it looks really real.
Yeah, and it's a full-blown configurator. You can change things in here. You can link that because it's web technology. You can link it with your existing enterprise systems like an SAP, Oracle, whatever you have, with your logistics, with your commerce site.
But so all different items here that you can see can be changed as well, because they might come from a catalog or from the asset manager of the company.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
It's really nice.
So that is really in a nutshell what we're doing here.
Okay, and can you change can you change the video? Like if you can do that in live. I really like when you change the video.
I think we can.
Vicky, can you show that? It's really cool.
Sure.
I think it's really cool when we change the video.
Let me think. Okay. And there you go. Different video.
I love this. I really love this.
Change it again. Or even some advertisement. Whatever you like. Yeah.
Really cool. Really cool. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, so in a nutshell, so industries or use cases.
What other reason? It's really interesting thinking about this and industries. It started out in some industries that are pretty obvious, like this one, or I could show you bathrooms and stuff. The usual suspects for a digital showroom. But as we learned by getting to know the building industry, which is a completely different use case. It's less about selling, but about working together.
Yes.
we learned that effectively we need to get rid of the notion of industries, because now everything gets so much more interconnected. What we think, and we see less and less companies buying this, but project owners like program managers or value chains or trust networks, you know, it's really the next step of digital evolution. I mean, companies have optimized and digitally transformed inside, but there is still so much potential in respecting the human aspect of working between companies across value chains. And we humans, we are great, and we have lots of challenges. And one of the challenges is imagining something based on a couple of words. So by bridging those gaps, we can now realize double-digit improvements in, you know, reduction in project time, cost, quality improvement,
so
not reduction.
We say one image is worth 1,000 words.
1,000 words,
And one immersive room is worth...
And how serious are we about this, right?
No, it's true. I mean...
That's why we send written reports all the time, with no reference to the visual context. And that is really what we're trying to change.
Of course, industry maybe is not the right approach here. It's more about use case and what you can really do. I mean, you can obviously sell and use that as a marketing purpose.
Yes.
This is obvious,
absolutely.
as we show. Project management.
Yes. Project management.
Education as well.
Education, absolutely.
I mean, there is different way where you can really leverage this. I mean, sky is the limit. You just if you have a lot of imagination, I guess we can do a lot of things with.
I mean, in a way, we are rediscovering how humans are effective about communicating with each other, and we're using technology. You've seen it when we did the house tour here. I mean, we're not using fancy electronics. No, this is consumer grade stuff. You can take an existing office. You paint your wall white, and you put the right low-cost projector on the right place, and off you go.
If I want to start, let's say I want to start working with you, I have some ideas. What could be the step to bring this live for my business? So how I should contact you, of course, but maybe tell us a bit more about...
wow, great idea.
Yes, maybe we start with calling you, Chris, but let me know what could be the process from ideation to, let's say, going live with this room.
Yeah, well, usually it's good to have a project purpose, you know, a project where you want to make it run faster, cost less, or be executed with higher quality. So having this kind of a purpose in mind, that's a good foundation. And then usually we'll sit together and we look at, so what are the kinds of stakeholder dialogues that you would like to focus on? And visually, what information should flow? Once we understand that, we will probably set up a first use case and establish that one together, because you will have to learn new ways of doing things. You will be surprised how easy it is, but you're not used to it this way, and you're not used to using a room with white walls this way. So it's both learning to adopt this new way of collaborating and starting small, you know, with a first step, but with a vision to roll it out to all other critical stakeholder dialogues. You may think that there are many, and because now all of a sudden in the planning phase, for example, you can involve everybody, that's not what usually happens. So you pick out those crucial dialogues, like between the owner and the planner, or you know, some critical stakeholders, and that works really well. So you focus on these conversations and you make them work in terms of the data that lead to the visualization. And then we use visualization as a language, literally. Yes. You don't have to imagine that you will literally work with this software that we're building. This is like, it's like the telephone. The telephone is not the content. It's you know, you're using it to communicate, and you're actually creating the content in applications that you already own. So that is why the first step is usually trying to identify the path that the information needs to flow in order to end up here. Okay. And you remember the technical visualization we had at the beginning? You know, that is one aspect of our software. Literally, the moment your model is done, 2 seconds later, you're walking inside it. So nothing needs to be done.
And about the 3D modelization, how does it work? I mean, if my business doesn't have anything, you can build everything from scratch, or do you need from us specific format, or I don't know how this works. How can you?
In order to do this, people don't need anything from us. They can literally upload their models, and they are working with models already, typically. But in going in this direction, this is not fully automatic yet. So we're working towards that goal.
Okay.
But you know, defining all the materials.
So your goal is really
like
to smoothen or to make the process easier.
Correct.
From 3D model, raw modeling, let's say, to something like this with more texture.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
So the materializing a scene is quite an evolved step, because for planning purposes, your models tend to be very simple. I mean, you've seen the light bulb here. I always like to show this light bulb here, right? This light bulb doesn't give any lights. It has no shape. And so what we're trying to do is automatically replace it with the CAD-CAM model that then will allow us to calculate, it's a different room now, but to calculate the lighting behavior inside this room. And not having to do this manually, we haven't achieved this yet, but we're getting closer and closer quite rapidly. That's why beyond doing a first project, we usually then work with organizations to look at what processes they can put in place so this transformation happens more and more automatically.
I see in our room there is people from Switzerland, obviously, and people not from Switzerland, unfortunately. I mean, no, it's fine, you can live where you like, but for people who are in Switzerland, they can also meet you in this room. I mean, this is a showroom, right?
Sure, yeah.
So the idea as well is that maybe you have a first immersion or a first experience here, discuss your project, understand what is your goal, where you want to go, and so yeah, we are in Lichtal. Anybody is welcome.
Yeah. Well, we have also other rooms. You know, we have partners. We just recently opened up a facility together with an architect in Zurich.
Okay, so you have the same room in Zurich?
Region, yes, exactly. Almost exactly the same size, same features, etc. And there are more and more partners coming online with these kinds of rooms.
Okay.
So Lichtal is not the only option that you have.
It was the first, and it's just the beginning. Okay, right. We are already speaking for 40 minutes, and maybe it's time to switch to the questions, because maybe people were a bit you were chilling in your home office and looking at all the nice 3D. So now, if you have any question, I mean, feel free to ask. And otherwise, you can anyway.
Maybe you want to bring back up the light, Michael. It's your call.
No question, guys. Don't be shy. We are here to ask you to answer your question.
Yeah, putting back the light on is always a bit brutal after.
All right. So in any case, I mean, yeah.
Do you have any questions, Sam?
I think I already asked you questions a lot, but no, it's more like, I mean, this is me. What I want to say is that you have to come here and experience that, because it's really. We try to give you the best with 3 cameras. We try to really give the best experience today. But
yeah, shout out to Michael, who has done
the best feeling. It's really when you are here in the room. I mean, I remember the first time. It's not the first time today, obviously, that I'm in this room. But the first time I came here, I remember that it was really impressive. When I went home, I said to my girlfriend, "It's really crazy what we have here." I mean, you have to live that. You have to live that. And I think people who have ideas and regarding in the construction industry or in the e-commerce industry or anywhere, I think they should just have a chat with you, and we can just develop something together. We have a question from Jürgen. So what kind of...
Jürgen is there. Hi.
Yes, it's here, Jürgen. Hi, Jürgen.
Yeah.
What kind of infrastructure is needed and how to integrate with our own company's IT?
Okay, with it. So what infrastructure is needed? Well, off-the-shelf electronics, literally. It is as easy as that. And that is crucially important because you know, I've experienced these kinds of immersive rooms over more than 2 decades now, and when they started out, they were expensive, they were really hard to do with a lot of proprietary technology, and this is really how far we have come. I mean, you can literally get a room up in a couple of days. You put up 3 projectors, you put 3 PCs, you connect them, you need an internet connection, and because you don't need to install any software. This is all browser-based stuff. Literally, in a couple of minutes, you could be online and participating in a project. So that's very, very satisfying in that sense that we've literally taken away all the technological hurdles.
Yes.
Right. You can go into your MediaMarkt or Interdiscount and buy 3 projectors, and if you fancy this stuff, you can be operational in the same evening. So. That's one side of the equation. The second one is, and I thank Jürgen for this question, because you know, companies, they run their own IT in ways that it needs to be run, with security, with applications that you cannot just pick and choose and do whatever you want. Right? Mm-hmm. And this is something that, I mean, there's different ways of doing visualization, and one is to just disregard what IT restrictions you have and just say, my machine is my thing and I do with it whatever I want. And then you can use very high-end VR stuff, and you need that kind of control over your system. That's not going to be your regular office computer. But we want to be able to do this everywhere. Like, this visualization runs on more than 3 billion devices without anyone installing software or getting approval from an IT organization, because literally you need nothing more than, can your browser point to a website? Then you can work with this. And the same thing counts for integrating this with your own existing IT systems, with your logistics, your ERP, your CRM, your CMS, all the investments you already made, because it's just web technology.
Yes. You can integrate anything.
You can integrate anything, and you can literally reimagine the value chain that you are part of, and where you have a trust that is established, you can now much more freely exchange information that is also meaningful, because it is visual and it speaks to more people than words do.
Okay, last question. Then I think we will have to close the webinar because it's already 45. What kind of service do you offer around your software?
As I mentioned before, you know, when you asked how to get started, that is a very important part of our business, to help with the first steps. But then you may need to also have some help of actually visualizing a particular collection of data, to integrate different data sources together. And you could do this as a normal visualization project and then have beautiful stills or have a nice movie. But because all we do here is interactive, you know, there's a different way of doing this. And because it runs in the web, and because the purpose is to literally share it in a guided way with others, as I said, it's a different way of communication. So we help with that. We deliver not just the software, but also literally every step of the way, including doing the visualization if you don't have anyone doing it yourself.
Okay, interesting. Great.
And we, you know, in terms of size of projects, what we have done is from a pergola at home
to a large retailer in Switzerland.
To one of the largest tunnels in the world. I mean, we're talking project sizes from small family-size initiatives where the decision has aesthetic value, and you will regret for the rest of the existence of the pergola if it's blocking your view, and we can help prevent that. And you know, the pricing is proportional. You know, it's a small project.
Of course.
A big tunnel that costs multiple billion Swiss francs is a different endeavor, and you know, different stakeholders, much more data involved, different processes, etc. But that's literally the span. So from your garden to the rest of the world.
Yeah, I need a new pergola. I will call you.
Sure. Please do. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Excellent. I mean, yeah, soon noon, lunchtime. I think people want to have a lunch break, and so we were really happy to be here today with you and with these 3 cameras. And Mickey, thank you, Mickey. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. Thank you, everybody behind the camera.
To Michael.
Yes. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Is absolutely amazing.
We will. So everything is recorded. We will share that online next week to be on YouTube. And so, of course, if you have any question, well, you know where to contact us. Come back to us, speak with Chris, and we can start a project with you. All right. Anything to close? A closing statement?
Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, stop by.
Yes.
Come here.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.